Hi everyone, welcome back to Planet Dirt. My name is Alicia and it is getting cold. My goodness, it is supposed to freeze tonight and I'm feeling it already. I still have a bunch of tomatoes to get out of the outdoor bed and I gotta take care of that today. I've gotten a lot done. It's taken me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I have filmed a little bit of it. I just posted a video and I was hoping to get it done in like 2 days. That did not happen. I'm really glad that I started early because this is taking forever. And it's my own fault. It's because I didn't prune as much as I should have during the actual season. And now all of that pruning time is just being collected at the end of the season when I need to rip everything out. So I'm going to take you over there and show you what is left. I have gotten about three flats. Acting like I'm talking about strawberries right now. I have like little boxes that I'm filling up with all of the tomatoes that I'm pulling out, and I'm on my fourth flat. So there's a lot of tomatoes in there. There's a few tomatillos, but I don't know that they're ripe enough for me to pull off. So those might just be a waste that I didn't get any this year. I got a couple throughout the season, but not a lot because of where they were placed, which, hey, you live and you learn. But it is supposed to get below freezing tonight. It's supposed to get like down to, it keeps going between 29 and 30 on the forecast. And so as much as I wish it were closer than that and I might be able to eke out another week or so, it doesn't seem like that's really in the cards. So after tonight, it's supposed to bounce back up, and I think on the forecast right now, it's supposed to immediately go back up to like 38 at night, and then it's supposed to be in the low 40s for about a week. So really, this is the only cold night, and it's a bummer because there are a bunch of winter squash over here that if I could get like another week and a half out of it, I could probably get them to the point where I could take them inside and cure them inside. But doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna take care of the tomatoes today. I did go over and I already sealed up the greenhouse, so honestly I just need to go and clean that out. And then after we get the tomatoes taken care of, I'm gonna do one last walkthrough of the cucumbers and the squash that I have left over by the greenhouse, and then we're gonna see how cold it gets, and maybe I'll come out tomorrow and everything will be dead. So that's the plan. All right, so this is what we have accomplished already. There was a big group of sunflowers right here that was a big old mess. I started over here, took all that out, took this out, and I got to about here. And I can actually see through these plants now, which is amazing because they were just so dense up until this point that I couldn't see what was happening. So I still have to go through this big old mass. But I did start over here yesterday and started to work my way this way. And I got a couple of plants out and pulled off a bunch of pretty decent sized green tomatoes. There were a couple that were blushing, but most of what I was pulling off were green. That's okay. I don't have the longest season. I don't have the shortest season, but it's definitely not the longest season. And so I already have one. These are all the tomatoes. So I already have one of these full of green tomatoes that's inside right now. This is my box of blushing tomatoes, and these are the ones that are fully ripe. So I'm just trying to keep to that system so that hopefully I can keep track and know what I need to lay out once I get inside, and I can just deal with it. And it won't take me as long once I'm inside. So there are a ton of cherry tomatoes in here, which is fine. I like cherry tomatoes, but there are so many that I'm being very judicious about what I'm actually saving of the green cherry tomatoes because there are just so many. And I know you're supposed to lay out tomatoes flat, and I honestly just don't have that much counter space to be laying out a bunch of little cherry tomatoes. So this is what this is kind of what the foliage is looking like. Like, as you can see, there are a bunch of green tomatoes in here, and if it doesn't look like it's big enough to start blushing in the next week, then I'm just tossing it, because I have so many tomatoes, it's ridiculous, and I can afford to be a little picky with the cherry tomatoes. Now, the slicer tomatoes, I'm just pulling everything off of them because they're big enough that they'll ripen inside, and I'm not too worried about it. But I did find out what happened to this trellis. So back in there, as you can see, there was a T-post in the middle, and there were zip ties holding two pieces of trellis together and attached to that T-post, and the weight of the tomatoes literally pulled the T-post out of the ground, and both of the pieces of trellis collapsed in on each other. So yeah, this is why I should have been pruning throughout the season, you guys. I gave up pruning a couple months ago, and that was a mistake. So I'm just gonna get in here. I've been having to just cut big chunks off where I can see them, and then pulling off any tomatoes. Like, that one's starting to blush, this one's red. Pulling off the tomatoes, putting them into my piles, and then composting as I go. My plan was to like cut the plants off at the bottom and just pull the whole plant off, but they are so entangled with each other that I tried to do that, and I made the whole trellis like worse. So that's not gonna happen. y'all, we made some really great progress. All of the tomatoes are down, and I have just laid a bunch of them flat in these beds because they're gonna die tonight anyway. I pulled out the tomatillos. There wasn't really anything worth saving on those plants, which is fine. That one's just a loss for the season. But this is what we were able to get out of the tomato beds. So there's lots and lots of cherry tomatoes in here, which is crazy. These are all of the ones that are slightly blushing. Another full tray of green tomatoes. So there's another one of all greens in the house right now. And then these are all of the red tomatoes. There were a bunch more cherry red tomatoes today. So the thing is there are a lot of tomatoes that fell in these beds, and they're perfectly good. So I'll like save this one because I just saw it. But there's a lot. There's a lot in there, but it's getting really cold and I'm running out of time. So I don't really think that I have the time to go through this and pull out all of the tomatoes that fell into the beds while I was pulling everything out. But unfortunately, I'm just kind of running out of time and it's getting cold and I have a couple more things I have to do. I'm gonna take care of these piles so that they don't just die in my yard. And then I'm gonna run over and check out the cucumbers and see if there's anything else over there. And then I have to head over and see if there's any squash I can grab. All right, I can actually see a cucumber from here. So I'm not too worried about damaging these plants because they're all gonna die tonight anyway. But hey, look, another cucumber. Oh, and this is hilarious. So this is why you actually have to like be able to search through your cucumber plants. Because look at this guy. Look at that honking cucumber. That's ridiculous. If I had let this go earlier in the season, I probably would have killed the plant because I could let it get this big. But this is definitely not edible. If I had chickens, I would give it to chickens, but I don't have chickens. So it's just gonna go in the compost. But every year, guys, every year, I miss cucumbers. Oh, there's another one down here. It's not quite as big. This one's actually still edible. Yay! Oh, there's a couple down here. Oh, another one. Look at that little pumpkin. Isn't it so cute? It's so tiny. It's not tiny. It's like I think that's one of the pie pumpkins that's in there. But if you come in here, there's this one, which is pretty close, but then there's a bunch of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other butternuts in here that just took way too long to get that far, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. Alrighty, y'all, this is what is left of the 2025 garden outside. Thank goodness I still have a greenhouse, or I'd be really sad right now. So I pulled a couple of pumpkins. These are just not cured yet, and so I'm just gonna take them inside and cure them inside because I don't want the frost to damage them. I have a little tiny babyest little zucchini you've ever seen. Look at that little guy. And then a couple more cucumbers, and then all of the tomatoes. All right, and so the only stuff that I have left outside right now are things that are pumpkins that have already cured, winter squash that have already cured. And so I'm going to let those stay out here, and I'll come get them in a few days once the plants have all died back, and it's gonna be easier to see what's going on anyway at that point. But other than that, that's the last big harvest of the outdoor space, and I'm really grateful right now that I have a greenhouse that I still have peppers and tomatoes growing in, because I would be really sad right now. All right, thanks so much for coming along with me today, you guys. I hope I see you next time. Bye. Alrighty, and there we are. It all all died. All of it died. There it is. The squash plant. Until next year, squash.